I think after a couple of years of that, I think probably after I did date this, after in that year of like anger, I think I was trying to be celibate. I think I was really making an effort, but it still wasn't really working. Like every few months something would happen. And I think I got to the end of that year and I said, this is not working. Like I'm not even able to be celibate. That's not working. So either I need to go and get more therapy and try to learn how to like not want to connect sexually and emotionally with people on that level. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do that, or I'm gonna have to just admit that I'm not able to be celibate. And so I think rather than take the road of like, okay, I'll go back to therapy again, I'll really, I'll try really hard to, I'll try really hard to figure out why I want to have sex with people, or I can just be like, human beings are made to do certain things, and one of the things that we're made to do is to have sex, to experience not just spew semen out of our body, but like to orgasm, to feel that complete cocktail of hormones that rushes through our body, and to feel that connectivity with someone, even if it isn't real. Even if it isn't real, to have sex with a total stranger, you can pretend, like it still does, it does something for you that I don't even know that I can 100% describe, but I think that, being someone who was every 2 or 3 months, like hooking up with some person, but not letting certain things happen, always stopping the other person from touching me there, or going really into this orifice, or whatever. I think that I was still getting that connection. I was still getting that sort of intimacy, even though it wasn't real. But because it wasn't real, it was not having a positive, high vibrational effect on me. It was having a really, really bad effect on me, because I was like, why can't I overcome this? Like, why? I've tried so hard. Like, and every time I slip up again, it's just like, it's that same thing, like that so many Mormon men and so many men who are trying to overcome their sexuality in whatever way. I think even even straight men who who are unmarried in the church and who are masturbating, or who are hooking up with women that they're not married to, have that same frustration of just like, why can't I get this under wraps? Why is my sexuality such a demon? And again, it's the bad tree. It's I just need to stop watering that sexual tree and I'll become, what I mean? It's just like whatever. So I think I just got to a point where I was like, first of all, I can't, to answer your question, I just don't think I could be celibate. And so I was like, the next best thing I can do, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but I was like, the next best thing I can do is get a boyfriend, a monogamous relationship that will allow me to explore my sexuality in a guilt-free way. And at that time, the only way I could explore my sexuality was to have a really solid boyfriend that I could tell everyone in my community of friends and family that was, still in the church and still kind of holding this expectation of me to be like the perfect gay Mormon. I could be like, yes, I'm having sex, but I'm in a monogamous relationship, and so therefore I temper your ability to judge it, basically. I think it was just a way of me saying like, you know what, you can say whatever you want, but we're faithful to each other, and this is okay. And I think on a really, really basic level, it's very clear that I was not accepting my own sexuality, because I also was like, well, I have to be in a relationship with someone to have sex with them. And I don't necessarily want to make a statement that it's a great thing to have one-night stands all the time, but only you can be the judge of what is sexually right for you and what is making you feel fulfillment. I think if you're someone that is having one-night stands all the time and that is fulfilling to you, who am I to say that that isn't? And maybe that person that does feel fulfilled by that will someday feel differently. Maybe they won't. Who knows? All I can say is I had I think a certain level of judgment for that behavior, and I did not want to fall into that behavior as a gay person. I saw a lot of promiscuity in the gay community, and I was like, I don't know. I even feel bad saying that, because like there's just so many different kinds of gay people, but I think one of the things that you are taught in the church is that if you leave the safety net of the church and you come out of the closet and become gay, the only thing that waits for you is drugs, promiscuity, HIV, which, you know, in that paradigm, it's God punishing you for your promiscuity. It's a punishment disease. And I've heard a lot of Mormons and other people say that they feel that way. And I'm like, well, what about the people in Africa? Whatever, though. Live your lives. But I just kind of feel like you're in that place where, you know, you have all this, you know, you're like, I can't come out because if I come out, then, you know, I'll totally become this huge whore and there'll be nothing for me. And like, there are no gay people out there who are really happy. All of them are living these dark lives and having sex in bathrooms and sucking each other off through, like, you know, some plywood board in a rest stop, you know. I mean, it's just like, it's a lot to take on. And so I think I was like, well, if I can at least approximate a heterosexual relationship, or at least approximate like a heterosexual kind of, you know, boyfriend situation, then at least I can defend myself from the sticks and stones that people might throw to me and be like, well, you're immoral. And I'll be like, you know what? I've totally been committed to one person. And I think there was part of me also that feared that I wouldn't be able to stay committed to one person because I had built up such a belief about myself that I was unable to control my sexuality, because my sexuality had always been this thing that was so out of control for me. So I started dating very seriously. When I want to do something, I go like full out. And so I started dating really seriously. I met someone. You know, within a couple of months, we'd gotten pretty serious. I called my parents. I said, I'm started dating someone, and it's getting serious, and I want you to know that I'm sexually active with this person. I don't want to hide from you, and I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but I just don't want to have any deception. And part of what had been so hard about my journey is that when I told my parents that I had homosexual tendencies, they were just so supportive, and they were so behind me 100%. But it was all kind of with the caveat that I remain in the church. And I felt so grateful for that support, and I felt so grateful for that love that I didn't feel like I wanted to be like, you know what, I'm not going to believe in your church anymore. I'm going to do what I feel is best for my life, and I'm sorry, you know. I wanted as much as I can to try to validate the love that they had given me by rewarding them with continued membership in the church and continued effort in that area. And so it was really hard for me to tell my parents, you know, I'm not obeying the law of chastity. I'm not keeping my temple covenants, because those were basically all the things I was saying. And but I still want your love, and I still want you to be proud of me, and I still want you to feel connected to my journey. And I sort of feel, I honestly don't know. I think my parents were just more than anything like, well, okay, we'll just see where this goes. I mean, obviously they were not happy with it, and you know, at a certain point in my relationship with this guy, I went home to where I live to do a job, and he was going to come visit, and I said to my parents, can we stay here? Can I have him? I was staying at home, and I said, can my boyfriend come and stay? And they did not say no outright, but my mom was like, well, we'll talk about that. Maybe you and me and Dad can all sit down and discuss it. And we just never did, because I could just tell that they were not comfortable with it. And I didn't want to push the issue because, again, I don't want to be someone who's like inflaming the situation. I didn't want to be contentious, and I didn't want to create something between my parents that, you know, I felt would start to create this bad blood. I just really wanted to keep the peace, and I really wanted them to feel okay. And also, it's their home, not mine. It's their home, and if they don't want to have someone in it, that's absolutely fine. But I hoped that they would come around and say, you know what, like, this is your boyfriend, like, we love you.